Since the release of its first season back in 2003, it didn't take long for NCIS to become the most popular franchise in the history of CBS. And with its titular cast of characters, it's really no surprise that season 19 is such a big hit. But what are the headlines you should be paying attention to right now? And what do they say about the show's future? For all this and more, stay tuned. Number 1. First off, let's take a look at the crossover event fans are about to be treated to. It all started a few days ago when Wilmer Valderrama posted a video compilation to his official Instagram account, announcing the news that he, as Special Agent Nick Torres, will be flying to the sunny capital of Hawaii to film a crossover event with the NCIS installment of the region. But he's not the only one. According to reports, both he and Katrina will be heading in that direction to prepare for the second season of the newest NCIS spinoff. For those of you who don't know, Katrina is best known for her portrayal as Special Agent Jessica Knight, who along with Nick Torres has made a name for herself on the original NCIS franchise. Funny enough, this won't be the first time Law films a crime scene on the beautiful island though. She's also played the role of Quinn Liu on Hawaii 5-0, a show which is technically speaking part of the same universe as the NCIS franchise. The crossover event is set to air come March 28th and will feature both special agents making a name for themselves in Hawaii to the surprise of the team being led by Vanessa Lachey's character, Jane Tennant. And while not much is actually known about the plot line that calls both Valderrama and Law into the equation, we have a feeling it has something to do with the solving of an unsolvable crime. Two departments are better than one, after all. Either way, we can't wait to see more. Number 2. Fans are also loving the new revelation that was made about Special Agent Gibbs. For those of you who haven't watched the latest episode of NCIS yet, please look away now, as we're about to dive right into spoiler territory. The leading man of the original franchise may be long gone after finally being written out of season 19's script, but his character is far from forgotten. Special Agent Leroy Gibbs has touched far too many lives to simply drop off the face of the earth after all, but nobody really knew how much he helped the families of his colleagues until this latest piece of information about the heartthrob made its way to our ears. It all started with a case of theft, which saw an amount of $10,000 US being wired into the accounts of McGee and Palmer, who had both been battling financially. It was a mystery of note that really made us wonder whether the special agents had turned dirty because of the needs of their families. But at the end of the episode, we came to learn that this was actually something Gibbs had put in place before leaving. According to Vance, the payout wasn't a mystery at all. After calling them into his office, he welcomed Palmer and McGee as the newest members of the Leroy Jethro Gibbs College Scholarship Club. As it turns out, Gibbs started the fund for his daughter when she was younger, but when she died, he refused to close it and instead used the earnings to help others. This addition to NCIS lore has some fans wondering whether Gibbs might return though. It definitely fits the character of the leading man, who has always been one of the most generous people in the history of the department, and it makes sense that he would have used this fund of his to help colleagues who are in a bind. It's a great way to not only keep his name alive in the department, but make a positive out of a death of his daughter, Kelly. As we mentioned earlier, Gibbs is gone, but most certainly not forgotten, with some NCIS conspiracy writers believing that Mark Harmon might actually be returning again sometime in the future. This all comes down to one line that was muttered by Vance in the closing frame of the latest episode. When Palmer said that he wished he could thank Gibbs in person for making his kid a beneficiary of the fund, Vance responded with a cryptic, "Hopefully one day you will get the chance." Not exactly proof that Harmon will be returning anytime soon, but we believe this line does in fact hint that the showrunners would be happy to have him back on the show as a guest or otherwise in the future. We shouldn't get our hopes up yet though. It's pretty clear from the context of the show that the other agents are still in contact with Gibbs, so Palmer and McGee could easily thank Gibbs with a simple phone call. But we can't help but hope. We already miss the man so much. Number 3. Speaking of missing, we now know more about Heath Freeman's death. It's a headline that shocked fans in November of last year, which saw actor Heath Freeman being found dead in his Austin, Texas home. For those of you who don't know, Heath was a prominent character on Bones, where fans knew him well as Howard Epps, but he also made a name for himself by appearing as Benjamin Frank in a 2003 episode of NCIS. The actor has been mourned by more than a few people now, including actress and model Shannon Moakler, who quickly took to Instagram to share a picture of her and the 41-year-old star. It's in this Instagram post that we first learned that the actor passed away in his sleep that fateful evening, but not much is known about the actual case of his death. As far as we know, Freeman wasn't at all sick and was still working on a number of titles, including the upcoming Devil's Fruit, without much difficulty. This is why his death came as such a surprise to his friends and family, who were clearly taken off guard by the news that he was no longer going to be around. Regardless of the reason for his passing though, Freeman will also be remembered as a member of the NCIS family, and as soon as we know more about the actual case of his death, we'll make sure that you're the first to know. For now though, let's just remember the man for the joy he brought us. Number 4. On the happy happier side of the spectrum, we need to congratulate Polly Perrette. The actress, who is best known for bringing the quirky character of Abby Scatillo to life, has finally spoken out about her love life. And while this doesn't appear to be something worth congratulating her for, it must be remembered that until now, she's been pretty closed off to her fan base. Suffice to say, times have been tough for the actress, who were reportedly married to musician Coyote Shivers back in 2000. The marriage didn't last as long as she expected, though. In fact, it only took 4 years for the couple to separate from one another, with their divorce being finalized in 2006. But this wasn't the end of her harrowing journey with the musician. According to her, Shivers did not take ending of the relationship very well. He apparently stalked her all over town, which resulted in Perrette having to take out a restraining order against him. Also, she seemed quite scared when reporting this little snippet of knowledge at the time. At least that's what fans suspected when she announced that restraining orders can only do so much. Perrette then went on to get engaged twice after this terrifying experience of hers. Unfortunately, neither relationship worked out for NCIS star, who also spoke up recently about having troubling experience with Mark Harmon on the set of the show. Despite what you may think of her, though, we have to congratulate Polly Perrette for speaking out and being a role model for women in trouble. Number 5. Last but not least, Vanessa Lachey has also shared some heartbreaking news. The mom of 3 and leading lady of NCIS Hawaii took to social media, where she shared the unfortunate news that her family dog Wookie had passed away. The announcement was made alongside an adorable picture of the beloved pet, who surprisingly made it to the age of 15 before suffering from the effects of old age. In the caption of the photograph, Lachey mentioned that Wookie not only made her a mother before her children came along, but really brought her family together, with the past 15 years being the best because of the joy he brought to her. It didn't take long after this announcement for Lachey's friends and followers to offer their condolences. Among the many was Jason Antoon, who is best known for his portrayal of Ernie on the NCIS spinoff. Suffice to say, the cast members of NCIS Hawaii are most certainly there for her. And there you have it, all the headlines currently revolving around NCIS. What do you think about the possible return of Mark Harmon, though? And how excited are you for the NCIS crossover event? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below.